Contrary to what many people may believe about life, family is the most important thing you will ever have, period.
Who are the contrarians?
In this day and age, a lot of people don't
Mm.
even find traditional family of any value anymore.
Well, I am so in love with my family. And after this past summer, I think I've fallen even deeper.
That ass.
1, 2, 3.
It all started with real talk, unfiltered, honest, and straight from the heart. Since then, we've gone on to become Webby Award-winning podcasters and New York Times best-selling authors.
Deadass was more than a podcast for us. It was about our growth. A place where we could be vulnerable, be raw.
Pause. But most importantly, be us.
But as we know, life keeps evolving, and so do we. And through it all, one thing has never changed.
This
is Ellis Ever After.
Dead ass.
Because we got a lot to talk about.
So, quick story time. I'm going to take y'all back to about a year and a half ago. Dakota was about 2. He wasn't saying many words. He was just pointing at things and getting frustrated and looking at things. And he had a little bit of a speech impediment because he couldn't say the T's.
Mm-hmm.
So he said K.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, or he couldn't say the K.
Right.
So
he
said
would say
the
T.
So rather than saying Cairo, he say Tyro or
Taz.
Jatson and Taz.
Right.
So Kadeen and I were a little concerned. And I remember Mimi was just like, we should get him checked to see if he has a learning disability. And in the very beginning,
more like a speech delay.
Well, yeah, speech delay, because we wouldn't know about the learning disability, but a speech delay. And in the beginning, I was like, man, like, is it COVID? Like, what could it have been that made him so different? So he started doing speech therapy, and the first thing, he scored on par with where he was supposed to be for his age. And we were like, okay, but the doctor did say that he had some delays in certain areas. So she was playing games, and I was watching her play the games with him and how he interacted. And then it clicked to me. I was like, he doesn't have a speech impediment or a speech delay. He just needs his parents.
He needs some one-on-one time.
He does.
Yeah.
And from then, it's been a whole change for all 4 of the boys.
Now the little boy won't shut up.
Facts. Telling all the business.
Tell everybody business. All right. And I love that I don't know if I love that for us, but
I love it.
So Kadeen is in one of her moods because she's pregnant and it's Thursday, so everything is my fault.
It's not a mood. I thought my morning sickness would be done by now. I'm just tired. I can't stay awake. I didn't do this by myself. Get away.
So mean. No, you didn't. It was team effort. It's a partnership, like football. Teamwork, baby. We got
Oh
here
my
together.
God, like football.
It is like football.
How?
It was 4th and long with no safety help. The backfield was stacked, so I needed to commit everything to the box. I needed you to tell me if somebody was trying to go long.
You need to work on your communication.
What was wrong with my communication? I said, Kadeen, it's about to happen.
You did not. You were just there like, baby.
That's how I sound?
Baby.
That's how I sound?
Yep.
And you knew what that meant, though, because you was talking about some, wait.
I did not.
Yeah, you was.
So then what happened?
I don't remember. After it happened, I blacked out. Woke up in the morning with my thumb in my mouth. So what you want me to do next time you on top? Want me to just throw you off the side of the bed?
I could throw you out this window.
So, karaoke.
Karaoke time. So I was like, oh, did we do like a family song yet? Like something about family. I'm like thinking of all like family. I mean, said family, all that. And we're like, nah, we've done those before. But I said, in honor of our boys and having an awesome summer with them, this was their song of the summer with Dad. I don't got all the lyrics down now yet. I don't know if I want to.
You don't want them.
I don't want to get all the lyrics down. However, I let them rock because them and Dad was feeling this song. So you take it away.
Parent, all right? I'm a millennial parent, so don't judge me, okay? Ballerinas doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe. Shopping sprees in Soho. You had to see it. Strippers shaking ass and watching the dough blow. Ace trumpets and rose golds. Yellow diamonds look like pee-pee. Bitches fly from DC. Yo, my province to Waikiki. Don't ask me why my sons is singing this song.
Bruh.
Don't. But that was our song. We bonded to that.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to the
thing.
Clips, baby.
That was their thing. I let them rock because they were in their books this summer too.
Absolutely.
So balance. You know what I'm saying? Balance.
But we connected because the Clips came out with a new album. But I remember when the Clips came out with Grinding back in 2000, 2002.
Right.
So we just went back through the whole catalog and spent time listening to the Clips the same way we do Biggie and Tupac and Nas and Hov. So You know, it's a little bit. The music is a little crazy for a 8-year-old to be singing about bitches flying private from DC to Waikiki. But he was learning
Hey,
about wordplay. Okay, it was wordplay.
It's all about rhyming. That's
That's what we were working on.
that's how we
All right.
justify it.
English.
All
We're
right,
gonna
balance.
English
Because they
language.
will put on their praise and worship
Yes.
soundtrack as well.
Cairo
the
does.
playlist.
What's that song that he listens to? And they do the whole dance.
Oh, there's a whole. I need you now more than ever.
Ever.
Won't you put my heart back together?
Together.
I searched the world till my haters just to find out your ways better.
Come on now.
So yes,
They
balance.
listening. Balance.
We got
balance.
Jesus and we got clips. Sounds
Yes.
about right to me.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Let's go pay some bills. We'll be back with op or no op. Stick around.
Skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya.
All right, so we're here for the entertainment showcase.
Form sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on.
Hey, how you rolling my business?
All right, so we back. Before we get to op or no op, I do want to just talk to the parents a little bit about why this was important to us, especially with the speech delay. Kadena and I had to do some self-reflecting, right? And we was like, you know what? We moved into this house in 2021. You immediately got pregnant. At the same time, we were career chasing like crazy, right? You were going to every event, every speaking event. We had book signings, we had tours, we had podcasts. I was filming like crazy, coming off of COVID. So we were just working nonstop. We moved your parents in, and Dakota was spending a lot of time with your parents, which no knock to our parents because we wouldn't be able to do any of the things we could do without your parents living here. But when we look back at it, we was like, your dad doesn't talk much. You know, and your mom spends most of her time doing other things around the house. So no one was interacting with Dakota. And the only time they interacted with him was when he was pointing to say or do something.
Right.
And they had their own little grandparent language where Dakota didn't even have to speak. Your parents knew what he wanted.
Oh, for sure. He would just point to something, or he would go to his brothers and they, I guess, were able to kind of figure out what he needed. And I mean, let's face it, he had a bunch of people talking. He was probably like, y'all niggas talk too much. Like, there's no reason for me to have to intervene here because y'all are doing all the talking and I get what I want anyway.
Facts.
You know, so that was interesting to see how that intentional time with him, one-on-one, whether it was DeVal or with me, or even just when we brought it to my mom and dad's attention, we weren't quite ready to put him in school yet because we typically like for them to be speaking a bit before we put them in school. But yeah, it was interesting to see the minute we locked in. He did work with his therapist for a little bit. So shout out to Jihi. She was awesome. She was only with him from, I want to say, March till August.
I'm about to say it wasn't that long, a couple months.
So yeah, it wasn't a long time before she graduated him out, and she's like, he's going to be fine. And I said, I really honestly think that he just had a bunch of agents and representatives that were speaking for him. And now, forget it.
But
he's going to be heard.
He also needed someone to be deliberate with using your words. For example, Kadena and I were very deliberate about, okay, if you want a cup, I'm not going to just get it because you're crying and pointing at the cup. What is it that you want, Dakota?
Yeah.
And he had to learn how to say it. And
Very
once he
much
had to
use your
rely
words.
on himself to use his words, it became commonplace for him.
Right.
And it was just good to see him go through the transition, but it was also a reminder to us as parents, like, even though you have help and you have your village, that's not their job. It's not our parents' job to raise our kids.
Absolutely.
We chose that. Like I told my parents, they hear of our guilty pleasures, and it was very pleasurable.
Oh, very much so.
So I'm going to enjoy the pleasure
Not one bit of guilt.
Right. Right.
But
A
it
lot of pleasure.
translates, I think, sometimes into like mom or dad guilt where you're like, damn, I realized how this could have been a detriment to my child.
Yeah.
And it's not because it was intentional at all, but it was because, man, it was an oversight. You think you're spending time sometimes if you're in the same room, or you may be watching a show together, or you're playing together, but not really locking in, making that eye contact. It's very different when you take that approach.
Being intentional is important.
For sure. All right, y'all. Op or no op, what's up? Matt, Tribble, Josh, how y'all feeling today?
Chilling.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Good stuff.
I'm tired. We've been filming podcasts. Me, Matt, and Josh worked out the last 2 days. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Last night, I went to take a shower at 9:30? I told them everybody was in the kitchen. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll be right back.
Literally, me and Josh were out there talking, waiting for DeVal. I was like,
I woke up fully
Right to sleep.
clothed. It was 1 o'clock. I woke up. Everybody was asleep. The house was dark. I woke up and I had my clothes on. She was knocked out in the bed, snoring next to me. I was like, damn, I left Josh. Because we was supposed to come back downstairs. And I was like, fuck, man, my bad. I came downstairs this morning. I was like, my bad, bro.
Yeah, I got into the bed and I kind of sat there for a little bit because I'm like, there's no way he's going to sleep with no ass tonight. So I was like sitting there and I was waiting and I was waiting.
What
and
time
I
you
was
woke
like,
up?
No ass, bro. I was not. You know I was sleeping. If I went to sleep,
Gotta
and I
be
didn't get no
tired.
ass. Like you got to be tired to fall asleep knowing you want ass. Like,
right.
Wow.
like
That's like a first for you. That's never happened. I'm just happy he didn't wake my ass up. That was the thing. Because I was like, damn, at any moment,
tried.
She
he's
was
going to
scared.
wake me up.
I tried.
She was
I was
probably having
watching
nightmares
Chopped.
about you tapping her on the shoulder.
What's up, guys?
And then this morning he was like, yo, I was definitely feeling you up in your sleep.
I was trying to see if there was any movement. There was no movement.
Let me see if you
at all.
awake.
There was. I did
Yo.
everything. I slid my finger from the shoulder blades all the way down. Typically, you get a little arch back, poke back.
Sure.
All I did was. I swear. I was like, oh well, let me just turn over because this is on me.
That's
This
not happening.
is on me. I went to
That
take a
was
shower.
on you.
It was on me.
I kept peeking over my
Right.
shoulder waiting to see if he was going to wake up, and then nothing happened. So I even held my peace so long at one point because I was like, if I move, he going to wake up.
Oh my God.
You see the stuff? You see the stuff y'all willing to do to hold the kitty
I
back?
was just like,
You willing to mess your bladder up to hold back the kitty from me? That's
Oh,
crazy.
no.
But you know what?
No, I
I got it. I gotta eat it. Paul.
I took-
I wouldn't mind eating it. But I'm just saying. I
Do
fell
that on
asleep
your own time,
you.
sir.
I fell asleep on you. I fell asleep on Josh. My fault, y'all.
No, hey, it's just been a marathon of events, back to school, podcast.
Yeah.
work. The summer's officially over. So
I don't say it's over until like October.
Yeah.
I mean,
Middle of
true.
September, it's still summer to me,
It's
bro.
just the waking up at 6 a.m. with the kids for school. That's for me the end of my
Yeah.
summer. But
It
you know,
is though.
we still got some time to enjoy.
September 21st.
But
That's
when?
when summer's over.
September 21st.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
how I
it.
feel.
That's it.
Technically,
We
yeah,
got a month. We still got a
I'm
month in the
technical with
week.
it, man.
that's true.
I'm with you, bro.
Cairo's birthday is usually like the last like pool day of the
Yup.
year.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true,
kinda
yeah.
You
shut
feel like
things
end of
down
summer
after that.
breeze. You're like,
The
Yeah.
breeze
all right,
starts
Well,
to
not-
come in.
Not in
Yeah.
Georgia, really. It get cool and then it get really hot again.
It do. It
Then it falls
through
off.
October.
That's
What do they
second
call
summer.
that?
Second
It's
summer
like
about to
Indian
hit, so-
summer.
Indian summer.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
October through the beginning of November is typically hot, and then
Yeah.
it's 45.
Yeah.
And you like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Exactly. Cold and flu season, child. Lord, brace yourself.
Ginger shots.
Yeah,
Oh,
bada.
and second allergy season too, the worst.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Why-
Ragweed be outside like a mug. I never seen ragweed. You ever see actually looked and seen like, oh, there's the
I've seen a
ragweed.
tumbleweed. What's that? Tumbleweed cousin?
I never seen that. I don't know what it
Well, it has nothing to do with the ganja weed because that nobody here allergic to.
Cultivate
Nah,
that.
that is
Cultivate
a
that.
fact. We are not allergic to that.
I actually think I am allergic to weed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it gives me like GERD. I'll be having like burps.
Word?
Really?
I never
Yeah.
even heard of that.
Yeah.
It could
It's
be,
crazy.
you never know. People's bodies be sensitive to different things, bro. And if
Yeah.
it ain't rocking with you, don't do it, bro.
I know I
part.
still do it. Like an idiot.
It's like that person that's lactose intolerant. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
going to take this
Yeah.
lactate
That's my pops,
pill.
bro.
Every once
It's
in
like
a while.
medication too. You got side effects to that too, man. You might as
Yeah.
well just do
Right.
it.
True.
No, do not listen to Josh. Don't listen to Josh, man.
Listen, life has side effects.
Don't
What
mind
you
if I
gonna
do.
do? We still here. Thank
There's
God.
different types of YOLO.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about her. She might as well do it. She's still doing it anyway, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you still do it.
Yeah, I was sick and I instead of taking medicine, I ate a gummy and I was like, this is it. I'm about to die.
But had
And you
to do it.
felt so much better.
No, I felt worse.
No, you definitely.
I didn't
You
go to
still
sleep
did
till
it?
like
Because
6
then you were
o'clock in the
paranoid.
morning.
You were like, I'm going to die.
Exactly.
This is it.
Yeah. That
I see the
happens
light.
90% of the time, but
All
can't
right,
stop,
let me
won't
grab
stop.
my paddle. I hear that.
All right, so there's two stories that I want to talk about
Okay.
today. One, so we've talked a bit about the locker rooms
Mhm.
and white guys being weird in the locker rooms. But there's a black football player for the Raiders, Christian Wilkins, who was released from his $35 million contract for kissing one of his teammates on the forehead. And it wasn't even in the locker room. It was in the team meeting room.
I know the story. I know the story. First of all, Christian Wilkins was he was up for $35 million. All he had to do was go through some certain workouts in order to get the completion, but he didn't do the workouts, which had him be labeled conduct detrimental. So they were looking for a reason to cut him because he wasn't in shape for those workouts.
Was it voluntary or mandatory workouts?
No, these were. I mean, he was coming off injury,
Okay.
and
Oh.
per the
Gotcha.
NFL, when you are injured, right, you
gotta
are
do what you
required to
gotta
go
do.
to treatments.
Hell
If you
yeah.
don't go to treatments to get yourself back, you're not gonna just sit here and be injured. So
Right.
that happened. But on top of that, he kissed a teammate on the top of the forehead, and the teammate said he felt uncomfortable. And the timing of it when he got released was the story. But that's not the reason why he got cut. He got cut for conduct detrimental. That was just the cherry on top because it's like, and you making people feel uncomfortable
Mhm.
in the locker room. So
Was
that's
Now
there
we
any
got a reason not to pay
context
you.
around
Yeah.
why?
And
Like,
why-
can you think of anything or any reason why you would have wanted to kiss one of your teammates on the forehead?
me. No, but
Dudes play around, man.
dudes play
Yeah.
around a lot in the locker
Yeah.
room. Like it's a very different environment, and it's hard for the general public to understand. Right? It's just like coaches. Coaches scream and curse and holler at kids in the locker room all the time, and parents be like, "I would never, I would never." Yeah, you wouldn't because you're not an athlete. But the
Mm.
culture there is a little bit different. So a coach screaming and cursing and hollering, or another player picking a player up or kissing him in the forehead in a playful manner is something that happens in the locker room.
Mm.
This guy didn't appreciate it. So he complained to HR. I believe he did actually make
Yeah,
a
he
complaint.
did. He did.
And once he made a formal complaint, it was just another thing on top of what happened with Christian Wilkins. But I don't think it was just
Understood.
the kiss. It could have been probably some bullying thing or something. He felt like he was just like, you keep doing the most and you not playing. So
Right.
that's what I
And
could
you're not
ascertain.
playing. You're not even
Yeah.
trying to make the team better.
Right.
And the
or
dude,
anything.
yeah, exactly. And the dude not making the team better is
Right.
over here kissing other dude.
Right.
You got
Right.
problems, bro.
Yes, he probably didn't find that funny. Well, I
No.
mean, I have no app about it.
But there are
I
things
get
that happen in the locker room that people will be like, why? Like, why would you? Like snapping people with towels, toweling people, making people carry stuff. It's hazing. That's
Mm.
stuff that you're not supposed to say or do, but you do it.
And it can
And
be a very juvenile environment.
It
as
is
well.
it's a lot of times it
Yeah.
is very juvenile.
I remember you saying that in college, but I just figured it was the age, not thinking that the
I mean,
NFL.
it is the age, but in the NFL, you got kids that are 20 years old who their
I mean,
only life experience is 7-on-7 high school environment locker
Mhm.
rooms, college environment locker room. Now you're a 20-year-old in a professional environment. Like
Right.
it's still
Still.
the same young mindset. And the thing is, some people don't like it. For example, if you are a 28 to 35-year-old dad and this is your livelihood, and the guy who is supposed to help you win, to help your livelihood, is playing around and then wants to kiss you on the forehead, that's not funny
Right. That's
to a guy
you don't
who's,
find that
you know what I'm
funny at
saying,
all.
who's grown, who has real world problems.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it could be
Mhm.
that.
So that's my question. In the locker room, do you think that players are now going to have more responsibility to holding each other accountable for that type of behavior? Because I know that stuff like this is like par for the course, it seems
Mhm.
like, for men in the locker rooms. But women in the last, decade or so
Mhm.
have been vocal about what we feel is inappropriate behavior in the workplace from men or from
Mhm.
people in general. And so now it seems like this situation is just one moment where a man was to step up in a way that traditionally men don't. So do you think that there's a trajectory forward? Do you have an opinion about whether players should start to speak up when they feel uncomfortable?
I think if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, you should step up. I mean, we went through this in college. At Hofstra, they used to have a racist Thursdays where
Mm.
everybody would just say racist jokes to each other. And you know me. You know me. And it wasn't a thing where I was going to go tell. I
They
was going
went
to let
low,
you know.
dragged them to hell, huh?
Yeah.
Facts. And
That's
and the
As you
thing
should.
is, my biggest thing was educating. You know why this ain't funny to me? I remember the joke that got me pissed, right? I'm not going to say the person's name because he's still a person's name. Young dude, white boy from Pennsylvania. But he was like, what do black people call MTA? And I was like, I don't know. And he said trees, right? The monkeys going from tree to tree. Like, it wasn't a funny joke, but on top of it, it was very, very racist. So, he like tried to smirk and laugh. And I was like, you know why that's not funny? And then I started to give him like an educational course on why it's not funny to me. And then it took all of the air out of the racist Thursday. And then they were just like, it was supposed to be funny to Val. I said, yeah, but it wasn't funny to me. So now I'm not going to make it funny for y'all.
Yeah.
And it stopped.
Mhm.
But I wasn't going to tell, but I also wasn't going to stand for it.
Right.
And I think it is a time where if you feel uncomfortable about something, you could be uncomfortable. But there were black guys who participated with them. And they did that on their own time. And I
Right.
also didn't tell on them
Mhm.
when they did it. Because to me, that's, if y'all think that's funny and y'all want to do that, do that. The same way they play grab ass in the locker room sometimes. They pinched each other's nipples. They did that. That's not a game I play.
Mm-mm.
But I'm not going to tell on y'all if y'all want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mind my business in the locker room. And if it's not a thing where it's conduct detrimental, where you're bullying someone or hurting someone, then you'll have at it.
Teach his own, yeah.
You know.
I imagine you in a locker room like these titties are for Gadeen.
I wish. I honestly, you laughing, but I honestly wish y'all was in the locker room to see some of the stuff I had to deal with. Plus, they knew that I was in love with my girl, and I had pictures of my girl in the locker in the NFL.
I love that.
And they would do stuff like
So
that.
sweet. You really put pictures
Like,
up of me?
I had pictures. Yeah, I was wild corny
Aw.
compared to them. Like they were just like, look, we got pictures. Remember we got engaged? I
Yeah.
want pictures up, and they did stuff like that. Came by and they were just like, I'm not Kadeem, am I? It was funny to me though. Like I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
funny, though.
Shit like that to me, like
That's
everything
funny.
isn't offensive.
Yeah,
Right,
That's
yeah.
everything.
Right.
I've been popped with a towel. I've had to pop me on my butt with a towel. Like I never felt like, oh my God, now I got to defend my man.
Can't come in the locker room tomorrow.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
you-
it's not like that.
You also got to know who you doing it with.
True.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You if you gonna kiss a dude on the forehead, he gonna report it to you. That's not your guy. That's not
not
the
my
guy to
guy.
be kissing on the forehead.
Right.
Because I've been kissed on
Right.
the forehead by a dude, Rashad Pitt, you know.
Yes.
He was like my freaking bodyguard. He
But
used to do it all the
yeah.
time. And not just in the locker room. He'd come in the room. He was my roommate for summertime. And it'd be me and Kay in the room laying on the bed. And he would come in the room and he'd be like, what's up, guys? Come in and just kiss me on the forehead. I'm
Right.
like, what the
He
fuck
knew it
is
would piss
wrong
you
with
off.
used to,
That's
like,
why he
fall-
did it, though.
Yes.
Yeah, both of us would be like laying in the bed, and he would just like roll and fall in the bed in between us.
In the bed.
Like the
He
three of
wouldn't
us
do it
in the
when Kay
bed,
wasn't
like
there though.
get
Well,
up.
no, he
bro.
wouldn't do it when Kay wasn't
Okay.
there. But he would do it if it was me and there was a bunch of other dudes there. If it was
Okay,
me,
okay,
Terry,
okay.
Bilal, like
He trying to be funny.
he trying to be
he was
funny.
Gotcha.
funny. He was a funny
That's-
guy.
and he came from an
That was
all-boys
his-
school, Cardinal Hayes in the Bronx, and he was also my protector.
Yeah.
Because when another dude tried to like punk me as a freshman, Rashad punched him in the face.
Wow.
Straight punched him in the face. That's part of the reason why he's not at Hofstra no more. But he was a protector, and that his way of showing camaraderie was like almost like I'm his little brother. Like
Got you.
he took care of me. Sometimes I would be out in the square, just out. It's not the locker room, it's not the room. And then somebody just picks me up and just puts me over their shoulder.
Yo.
And they'd be like, yo, Pitt, man, put me the fuck down, bro.
Yo, you could switch the locker room and Hofstra with the penitentiary and the yard.
There you go.
Listen,
There you go.
I know
With
Kappas.
Not much
I know
different.
Kappas ain't talking. I
I'm
know
not
Kappas
saying-
ain't
I'm
talking,
just
bro.
saying.
I'm going to stand on the side on this one.
Yeah, because you want to talk about fraternities?
Son, hold my pocket,
Oh
bro.
my
Y'all don't have
God.
locker
Hold
rooms,
my
but y'all
pockets,
do
man.
some of the wildest stuff in fraternities.
Nah, anybody kissing nobody on the forehead, no fraternity, bro. Niggas is not doing that. They not doing that.
You
Not
wanna
in
hear
my
some,
chapter.
You want to hear some of the stuff the
They don't
Kappas
talk
had to
about
do at Hofstra?
I don't know what they did. Not my chapter.
Completely different chapters, different lines, all that.
Completely,
Yes.
completely different
I'm
people.
not. I don't got to defend the locker rooms. I know this for a fact. We would fuck y'all up.
Y'all athletes.
But
Exactly.
y'all
That's
can't.
fine. We not, ain't nobody trying to fight, man. We lovers, man. We not fighters.
I know y'all love it.
Yeah, we shimmying, bro.
Come on,
Shimmying.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Josh be
on,
having the
shoulders.
cane.
We're gonna make sure we catch this
I ain't gonna lie, that shit kind of dope. I'm not even gonna lie. If I could work a cane like that, shit, I would be walking around with that shit all the time.
All the time.
My
He
man
would.
Bafo is a Kappa. He
Yeah.
the nigga's cool, bro. He cool.
Instead of Val doing that with the straight bar in the gym. You know?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? With 45s on each side.
Period.
I'm playing.
Meathead
What
shit.
you got next, Trips?
So I think this is my first time talking about my sister on the show. Beyonce, Giselle, no, it's called.
Yeah. I'm like, you talk about your sister
My
all the
blood
time.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what?
I was like,
Never
oh,
mentioned
shit.
my blood sister before, but we are related. So there's that. She took her kids, my nieces, on tour with her this summer, which I thought was cool. She got to spend the summer with her kids
Agreed.
and put them to work. And I was curious because I know they getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one outlet that said that Blue Ivy is making $40,000 per show on tour, which is probably more than what the rest of the dancers made. So I want to know,
Probably.
op or no op, if y'all spent some time with your kids this summer, we're
Mhm.
talking about that today. If you had to go on tour, or if you were filming a movie, would
There's
you
no
take your
if.
kids?
I paid
and pay them?
our kids.
Yeah.
Yes, our kids are paid for being Ellises,
Yes.
essentially. I mean, we're doing social media content. We've built our brand pretty much around our
Yeah.
families. So our kids are definitely getting paid for
Absolutely.
their time, their services, their likeness. But we also take into consideration the fact that there are things that they don't want to do. So
Mhm.
now that they're getting older, we're mindful of that, but
Mhm.
they're on payroll like anybody else would be. I think that Beyonce is doing the absolute right thing. It's
Yeah.
also, I'm hoping too, they're having the conversation with Blue and Rumi and, the kids about what that means for them in terms of like having their
Mhm.
own money and how to manage it and how to
Mhm.
save. And, it's going to be a completely different kind of conversation. You're going to make it $40,000 per show,
Right.
versus maybe what, other kids will be making on their jobs or being paid by their parents. But, there's a lesson in it.
I think it's twofold. The one thing is you get a great tax write-off when you get to pay your kids. Plus, you can put the funds in an IRA, put in a 401k, put it on accounts that yield high interest because they're so young.
Right.
And then by the time they become 18, they can take it out and have it tax-free. So it's two-part. You can help your child build wealth from a young age, but you also get tax breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it was important that we do both and we explain to them. But I think what Kay said is also more important. Jackson, Cairo, Kaz, and Dakota have been integral in helping us build this brand.
Yeah.
Like people don't only just love Deval or Kadeen or Deval and Kadeen. They love the idea of the family, which requires that the kids get in front of the camera and sometimes they have to perform. We ask questions. Do you feel like making this video? And sometimes they just like no. So if it's no, the answer is no.
Right.
But then Jackson's old enough to say, what does this video mean and why? And then he'll be like, all right, I get it. I'll do it. So at this point, you're working. And you should be compensated because if you're not compensated, you're being exploited by your parents. So to
And
me,
let's be clear. I mean, people like DeVal and Kadeen and the Ellises, but they got favorite kids. Like,
Yes.
They do.
I'll run into people or you'll see in the comments like, oh, Kaz is my favorite. I know I'm not supposed to have a favorite, but do y'all want to go on record saying who your favorite kid is?
I said all the time, man. Kyra's my favorite.
boom. I know who your favorite
All
is.
right, Matt. We know.
What up, Bear?
Yeah.
Bearsy.
yours?
I would have to say Kaz. Kaz is the first
I
one
knew you
that
was
I
going to say
Yeah.
that.
bonded with. Yeah.
Yeah.
You always say his name first whenever you come in. Hey,
You
Kaz.
do.
You don't even
look for
notice that.
Kaz.
That's my boy.
I think my favorite rotates. Like, it's never just one kid. It's like, depending on
As
the
it should
time or
be.
the moment,
That's
like,
good.
it rotates. Like, you're my favorite right now because of whatever reason,
I don't think I have a favorite.
Yeah.
I like all of them are just they're so unique, they're so different. They all have their own great place. Jackson is the apple of my eye because he was the firstborn. Like there is no Cairo Kaz Dakota without Jackson. So that's his place. Cairo was so exceptional as a young child that it made it easier for us to have more kids. So he owns his own place. Kaz looked just like me. Like, how could I not love you? You look just like me. And then Dakota's the baby.
Right.
Like, he's my last. So I really can't think of a favorite.
Yeah,
I can't. There's
same.
a reason why all of them, when I see them, I just smile,
Light
get
up.
teary-eyed,
Yeah.
and then want to punch him in the chest. That's just me. Like,
That's the balance. That's the
I
balance.
kiss them on their forehead, then punch them in the chest, tell them get out my face.
Mm-hmm.
Can
And
you
I said, I love you.
Can you imagine? I know Kate talked about Beyonce possibly talking to her kids about how to manage money and all that. Can you imagine Beyonce telling her kids that money don't grow on trees while she walked by the money tree in her house? The money literally growing on the tree in her house.
But you know what? I can. What the pivot would be with that? They get to see their mom bust her
Hell
ass
yeah.
Yes.
and work
Yes.
so hard. Like she puts her all into
Yeah.
everything. So you're not just seeing the praise that she gets and the fame and the
Yeah.
stardom. You're seeing her build out an entire production from the ground
Yeah.
up. From the music to how the music then translates to a show. So I'm sure that they're getting the bird's eye view, or actually like the in the depth view
Yeah.
of like how everything has
Yeah.
come to fruition, which I think is invaluable.
I think this may be a different perspective, but I'm willing to share it. I told my kids like that, y'all know y'all don't ever have to worry about money, right? So since you don't ever have to worry about money, what's your purpose in life? Because we have to start teaching our kids about different things rather than just go get a job and work. So if you have children who will never have to just get a job, we've created trust funds for our kids. They've already earned enough money by themselves that when they turn 18, they'll have 7 figures to go off and do what they want to do. So in that way, you can't treat them like a kid that has to go out and get a job. But you also have to teach them the value of that money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So with Jackson, for example, he has his account, his expense account that he has. And I'm like, how much money are you saving every month from the allowance that you get?
My boy frugal.
He's super frugal. And it's funny
Mhm.
when you have a kid who has access to pretty much everything, he'll be like, no, I want my account to have a certain amount at the end of every month. So I'm just not going to get these things so that I can reach it. And what I'm teaching him is that money has a different type of value. He spends most of his money on gifts for his brothers
Yeah, I was going to say that.
and his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many parents call me and just like, Jackson got so and so an embroidered. What was the jersey?
Like
Pat
some jersey,
Mahomes.
yeah.
A full like embroidered Pat Mahomes
Oh, that's
jersey.
tight.
And they was like, "Did you know that he spent?" I said, "Listen, he has his own money. You know, he's friends with your child." And they were like, "But we can't get him nothing like this." I said, "Well, that's not. He didn't get
He
it.
didn't do it for
He didn't
that.
do that for it.
Yeah.
He did it because he values your son's friendship, and that's just the type of person Jackson
Right.
is."
And he
That's
does it
dope,
without
man.
expecting anything in return.
Yeah, he
I'll
just
see some packages come sometimes and I'm like, oh, it's for Jackson. I wonder what he got. And I'll open it and it'll be like body wash. And I'm like, Jackson, I could have gotten you body wash. He was like, well, I like this brand. I was running low. So that's
Yep.
one less thing
That's
for you to
dope.
have to think about. I
That's
was like,
cool.
all right, that's cool. So yeah.
and teaching them to
That's-
pay it forward.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Like you have an abundance.
For
What are you
sure.
gonna do with it? You gonna
Yeah.
go out there and just try to make more money? Our thing is we have the family trust. So since we have the family trust, it's like, okay, how much money are you going to put in the family trust so that your offspring can continue to live the life you live?
Mm-hmm.
And now that you have that, what are you gonna do to pay it forward? Do you need all this money, Jax? Not really. I was like, you have properties that are gonna be in your name, right? Yeah. So if you don't have anything to save for, what are you looking to do? So now his mindset isn't so much about how can I get the money? It's like, how can I make humanity better because I have this abundance?
Mm-hmm.
So I could definitely see, knowing how Jay-Z and Beyonce are so big on community, I could see them having those conversations with their kids, being like, yeah, you might have made $40,000 a show. How many shows did they do? Over 20.
Yeah. I mean, for Cowboy Carter, she did definitely over.
Over
She already
20.
did 4 in Atlanta alone. I forget the total, but
So if it's 25 shows,
Mhm.
she made over $1 million, right? So when you have a 13-year-old who made over $1 million and it's reported this way, as a parent, you have a responsibility to say, what are you going to do with this $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely see them having that conversation because, I mean, Jay-Z is known for
His business
his
acumen.
business
yeah.
act, but also what he does for social justice.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, he spent millions and millions of dollars on bail reform
Mhm.
to help people get out of prison who was being held up, without exposing it. He just did it.
Yeah.
So they having those
Yeah,
conversations.
and them kids definitely get a master class. He talks about the paintings that's in his daughter's names
Come on.
that's worth millions of dollars.
Come
You
on.
think they not walking by that painting every day and be like, yo, this joint just hit 8 million this year. Like she knows.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's what we have to start doing with all of our children, right?
Right.
Like I feel like sometimes we get caught up in the struggle of blackness,
Mhm.
that we hold the struggle of blackness higher than anything else. But what about the ability to go through the struggle and now your children don't have to struggle?
Don't have to.
And wearing
yeah.
that as a badge of honor. Like if I'm Jay-Z, it's like, yo, that painting is worth 8 million. Know everything about that painting. Why? Because now you can give that to your children or you can flip it and now each one of your children get a painting from that 8 million just so that they can learn. And that's also a part of blackness too. I have something to pass down to my children.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we never
Yeah.
really had before ever.
Right.
Like, did we find value? Think about how many, people that are into art or, little things that would be like, wow, I didn't
We
think
didn't
about
know.
how this investment over years can accrue a certain amount of wealth. We never had access to those kind of things before.
Mhm.
And we were talking recently about just even growing up in Brooklyn and what it looked like for us, like the things that we thought were normal should not have been the norm.
Right.
Like having to, watch yourself on the bus and on the train because you never know, you had to run from people trying to jump people down the block. And it was just
Yes.
a lot. It was so
Yes.
chaotic. And that to us was like normal.
Yeah.
So early on when we were parenting Jackson, I was like very adamant about, he has to be tough because,
Yeah.
growing up in the streets of Brooklyn, this is what I had to deal with. And it's like, should that even still be
No.
the topic of conversation? Are we aspiring to move out of our circumstances to circumstances that are a bit softer because we don't have to, live in these circumstances like we did
Yeah.
when we were younger?
No, you're absolutely right. Like my whole approach to things is so different, even with my boys. For example, with Jackson, somebody get in your face, you snuff them. Don't let nobody come in your space. It was just very grimy and gritty because that's how we grew up. Growing up in Flatbush, if someone gets in your space, don't give them a chance to do something first. So you take them out, and if someone ice grilling you what the fuck you looking at? Like that was what I was teaching Jackson because that's where we still lived. Now it's more like you're in a space where someone may be staring you. Try to assess, like they could be staring you because they know who you are, and they may want to have something kind to say. So you being super aggressive off jump is unnecessary. If you're in a situation, someone invades your space, it's okay to back up and be like, yo, can you give me some space a little bit? Rather than jump into conclusions, just, yo, can you give me some space a little bit? And teaching them how to be diplomatic, but also be slow to respond. Where in Brooklyn, you can't be slow to respond.
Right. You also
And
got to still know your environment. Like, you're not walking
absolutely.
around here through this world like a space cadet, either
Absolutely.
not aware of your surroundings and having your
Absolutely.
spidey senses on, but it's not the same as it used to be when we were growing up.
No.
And you always hope that at least each generation you can take your children out of the circumstances that you had to deal with. So that's part of intentional parenting, which we're talking about today.
Speaking of intentional parents, we did something very, very intentional on the track trip that we really want to talk about. We sat down with all of our boys and we said, yo, each of y'all are going to get 5 minutes to just tell us how you feel about anything going on in the day or in your life.
So we started with Jackson because for the track meet that we went to in Jacksonville, it was just Jackson and Cairo. So Cass and Coda with my parents. And yeah, where did you come up with that? I meant to ask you. I forgot to ask you in that moment. Like, what made you think to have that conversation with Jackson initially?
It was self-reflection. Like, I just realized as a parent, I spent so much more time talking to my kids about what to expect that I realized that I never asked them how they felt about anything. And I just was like talking. And it was, third day in a row, track, third day in a row. And I'm talking. I'm just like, is he getting it?
Right.
So then I asked him and I was like, yo, Jax, what's your plan for tomorrow? And like a good trained West Indian Southern black child, he knew all of the things to say in order to get the conversation over. Wake up early, I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna work hard, and whatever happens, I'm gonna have fun. Man, you are a fucking robot, my guy. Like, that's your whole day. I just told you had 5 minutes, and in 5 seconds, you told me everything. I said, I want you to sit down and think about what you want to do with your whole day tomorrow and then the rest of your life.
Think about how you feel.
And what happened, Kay?
Crying.
Started crying. And I was like, why are you crying? I don't know what to say. I don't want to say the wrong thing. And I was like, wow.
And then he said, I just don't know. Like, I'm an Ellis. Like, I just have to be perfect. You and mom are like perfect. And I have to live up to that. And I'm the oldest. And we were like, oh my God, this poor thing has been carrying this pressure because he feels as though his parents are so perfect that this is a standard for him. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit because I'm like,
bro.
man, I didn't think that that's what he received from us trying to just tell him things as parents. Like, parenting, to me, DeVal and I just thought that we're parenting. We're telling them, telling him and all the boys the things that they need that are necessary to be good human beings. And we didn't realize that, wow, sometimes the conversations may just be all sports related. And we're not just talking about him as a person, or maybe I'm just always about academics and not just getting to learn my son as a person. What do you like? What don't you like? What can mom do better as a mom? Is there anything that I can work on? Like, these are that spiral into this conversation with him. And we were like, Jax, you think Daddy and I walked out of here just perfect? First of all, we're not. We failed so many times individually, as children, as adolescents. We failed together. We failed as parents. We failed publicly. Like, we've done a lot of that, but I didn't know that in his 14-year-old mind, I guess the pedestal that he has us on as parents, which were the same things I had my parents on as a child, we just wanted to kind of come down from that and be like, Jack, you don't have to aspire to this level of perfection that is non-existent.
It also checked me too, because I was like, every time I talk to you, you cry. Like, what's the problem? And then I realized after having that conversation, he just didn't want to say the wrong thing because he thought he was going to get in trouble. And that fear made him nervous and it made him anxious. And then his eyes would well up and he was like, I don't know why I get like this. And I realized, you get like this because of me, bro.
Yeah. He's conditioned to automatically just punch up.
It's tensing up.
Yeah.
It's what it sounds like, because my daughter does it too. It's telling you the answers that she thinks you want to hear.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you can't read my mind, man. Just talk. Just tell me what it is, because I don't want to hear what you think I want you to say.
Yep.
That's a really good point. I used to cry too, like at teacher parent conferences. I wasn't a bad kid. I used to talk a lot, but I think that's probably what it was. I would immediately break down because I know that whatever is going to be said is not what you want to hear. It's going to be something different, something I can't predict.
Yep.
I don't really have an answer for it because I'm just a kid that's just doing shit.
Right.
And nobody's really asking me questions either.
That's the thing.
So literally, Tribble, what we came down to, because we did it with Cairo too, and I was like, yo, Cairo tough. Let's see
The
what
next
Cairo
day,
say,
we
right?
did it at dinner with Cairo.
It literally happened like this, because Cairo sit down. I said, all right, we're gonna do the same thing we did with Jackson yesterday, Robbie. You have 3 minutes. Tell us what you want to do with your day and this. He said, and I was like, yo, it's cool. And what we also changed was we didn't shame them for crying.
No.
It was in front of all of his brothers. And we was like, yo, you crying? You
No,
know
that was
why?
Kaz in front of all of his brothers. Cairo,
Cairo
we were just
was-
at dinner together. It was the 4 of us. But with Cairo, it was interesting because once he started crying, but then he was just like, I just love you guys so much.
Yeah.
And I love my brothers.
Yeah.
And I love my life.
He feels so much.
Why you sound
feels
just
so
like
much.
him?
He feels
He
so
feels so much.
Yeah.
Like, as tough as his little exterior
Yeah.
is, that little muscle man, he is probably the most sensitive child that
But
we
do you
have.
remember what happened? Jackson was just like, bro, it's okay. I cried too.
Oh.
And then we watched Cairo go like this. Yeah?
Oh.
Well, in that case, I want to go to the NFL. And then he just started rambling on about all of the things. And he's like, Daddy, how much time I have left? And I was like, just go, bro.
Yep.
But-
He's like, I want to be an actor.
Yeah.
I want to sing. I was
I
like,
want to
all
learn
these
about
things.
Jesus.
Yep.
And he just was talking. And I feel like
It was like a load off.
like
of
a load
him,
off. Like
right?
I can say anything
Yeah.
and nothing's wrong.
Yeah, no one's
Mhm.
judging me. It doesn't have to come out perfectly either.
Mm-mm.
And we just like reassured him the whole way through. And it was nice to see Jackson in that moment as
Yeah.
the older brother be like, bro, like it happens. Like I went through this. And then Jackson, we reversed it in that night. I said, Jax, do you have anything else you want to say? And Jackson was like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
how much time I got? And then it was like the conversation
The
kept
next day,
going.
The
yeah.
very next day, Jackson had completely switched. Cairo was good. We came home and you're right. We did it with Dakota
With
and
Kaz.
Kaz here. Kaz started crying for he didn't know what to say at all. And that's when we
Mhm.
realized with Kaz, like, yo, Kaz is 7 years old. He's been in this house mainly with his grandparents who don't ever ask him anything.
Mhm.
They tell him what to do. Cairo tells him what to do, right? And
Or
now,
does it for him.
Or does it for him. And
Yeah.
now at 7, we're asking him his opinion on things, and he's looking like what? Like an opinion. Like I just do what Cairo says. And that's when we realized, like, man, we need to sit them all down and let them talk about what they want to do and not shame them.
Yeah. And that's
dope of y'all.
yeah,
Mm.
that's part of the intentionality that we saw helped this summer.
Yeah.
But it also just locking in this kind of way with them allowed us to also see some things in each of them that were like, okay, we need to help him correct this. For
Yeah.
example, with Kaz, because he moved here with us from California, been with my mom the entire time. Cairo, who takes so much pride in being the older brother, you know, he'll come in, like first day of school last year, they were at a new school. Cairo's like, here, let me take your backpack. Let me take your jacket. I'm gonna hang it up for you. And his teacher had to say, hey, let me see Kaz do it.
Yeah.
I think Kaz can do it. Let him
Yeah.
do it. And then Kaz, a little apprehensive, was like, went to put his backpack up and all that. So we realized how much of a detriment it's been
Yeah.
for Cairo to be so close to him
Mhm.
because Kaz essentially will look at us some days and be like, what I gotta do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Kaz, brush your teeth, wash your face, come down. Like,
I mean,
you know the
you heard
routine.
me in there just now with him. And this is another thing people don't understand. I'm very old school. It is the way I am, right? My kids all say they want to play sports. I'm going to coach you now like a coach is going to coach you. So why scream at them? I'm on them about details. I use certain words that are curse words that get their attention because Kaz sometimes becomes a space cadet. He spent the last 7-8 years of his life waiting for Cairo. So I'm telling all of them to do things and he's just not focused. He's just do-do-do-do. And then when it's his turn, he messes it up or rushes through it. And it takes me being like, yo, pay attention. Like, what the fuck? And then he's like, then he's knocking it out. And they're like, yo, how does he do that so easy? And I'm like, you see?
Because he's not trying to get in trouble again.
Right. And it's like
Right.
that little bit of energy to where he realized there's a consequence. Because Kay said it too. If there's no consequence for Kaz, he gone.
he gonna Kaz.
Yes,
Kaz
remember the
gone
teacher said
Kaz,
he was
much
doing
like
a
me.
story. He was doing a math problem.
Mhm.
Couldn't figure it out. Just stopped in the middle of it. Put his book on.
That is me.
I'm not doing this no more.
I did that on
In
my
the
math
middle of
beat
class.
Regents.
And
I
if he had a
finished the whole
phone,
first
he'd
part.
What?
If he had a phone, he'd be on Instagram.
Nah, the math
Facts.
beat Regents, I finished the whole first part. I was like, wait, I'm not getting a Regents diploma anyway. I already failed Spanish. I left the class. I just
See?
handed in the paper. Got the
See?
results back. I had a perfect score in the first part and failed because I didn't do the second part.
Oh wow.
See?
Because you were
There
just
was no
done.
consequence. So here, y'all take this. I'm
Man,
out.
I'd have cussed your ass out so bad. Man. Man,
Wait, chill out, Mr. Poor and Mr. Homeworks.
yo,
You had a 55.
I've never failed a
We
Regents.
Don't let me
Fast.
call Mr.
Mr.
Fast.
Fast.
I've never failed a Regents. Now,
You want some Lucky Bucks?
It wasn't important Regents. Let's clarify that. It was for a Regents diploma.
that's how I felt about homework. So I can't even be mad at you. There was one classmate, I ain't do no homework. I got 100 in everything and got an 85 in the class.
That's crazy.
And my mom was pissed. 15% is homework.
Yeah.
And I said, Mom, I got 100 on everything. Why do I need to do this? Like, why? She was like, and to this day, I didn't understand it until I had kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because your attention to detail or lack of attention to detail in one aspect of your life will
Makes a
show
difference
itself
in
in
all
another
In another
aspect
one.
when you need it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I realized that with football. Things that, sometimes I would just let shit rock. And I go over this with Jackson, man. I caught 9 punts in a row. It's the last punt. I'm not really focused. I bobble it.
Yeah.
That's the one they paying attention to.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Of
look,
course
he's
they
not,
would.
he's not paying attention.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, fuck, why? I caught 9. Why do I care about the 10th one?
And
Right.
that's the difference between good and great,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the
So true.
fine details.
You could have
Yeah.
had a
All
whole
the
great game, and then the
details.
fourth quarter, you dropped that punt when we needed it.
Yeah.
That's
And-
why I'm not in the NFL no more.
Right.
Like,
But
And the pressure.
Yeah,
I have a
kids are
question for you,
learning
though.
how to do everything. Like my friend yesterday, I was talking to my friend, it was her birthday, and her son was being irritated. And she like, he over here playing with the damn tape measure. They just moved. And I'm like, it's probably his first time picking
Ever.
up a tape measure. Like
Yeah.
that is interesting as hell to him. And it's the same thing with like communication, with like focus, with like,
Mhm.
you're not doing something now. Here's a consequence. Now I'm learning that I have to focus in this scenario. This is my first time ever doing that and ever facing that consequence. And it's important to do that. I feel like you're going to fuck your kids up either way.
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
they can either be fucked up and focused or fucked up and like
That's where I'm at now.
mediocre.
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not going to be aloof. You're going to be fucked up but focused.
Yeah. And then you as a parent too, sometimes I realize this because I've done it. You take for granted that one kid will absorb something or get something
Woo.
easily because another kid got it easily.
Yeah.
And you didn't realize like, oh, wait a second. You may learn differently.
Bro.
You may have different requirements. You may need, you just have a different attention span. You're just a different person altogether. So something that may have come easily to Jackson. And we realized, okay, Cairo needs a little bit more work with this, or it came easily to Cairo. It's like, well, Kaz needs a whole different approach. Like we had to learn how to style step with each child because they all learn differently. They accept communication and criticism
Yes.
differently. And that's something we locked in this summer with them, especially with like Kaz and reading,
Absolutely.
for example,
Absolutely.
Dakota has a little attitude, like his face.
A little attitude?
Dakota.
A little attitude?
Dakota.
Dakota gonna
he
show
got a
you he
lot of
mad at you.
attitude.
Listen.
He going to get one of these at one point. I
Dakota's
know.
little face, baby, and the way he cuts his eyes sometimes.
When
I
did
was
that
like,
happen?
He is my child. He
Well,
looks
I
like
know
he
when it
always had an
happens.
attitude with me, so I've seen it
Right,
from
just from
day
birth.
one.
I know exactly when it happened, and I know Josh had a question. But you know when it happened? The minute we said we actually said, yo, this is not Mimi's house. You understand this, right? You have to use your words. The minute we started making him use his words rather than him pointing, he started doing this.
Yeah. You're right.
Bruh.
It was that I never forget
Yeah.
the moment. I'm like, he rolled his eyes and then walked away because he didn't even want to say cup.
Right.
He said, "Fuck it, I don't even want the cup no more.
Don't
I'm
want it
not
no
saying
more."
it
Right.
just because you want me to say." And he would say stuff like this. Fine, I don't want it no more. Wow, bro. All right. Well,
He
then
said, I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
He'll still do it
Or
now.
he'd be like, fine, mom.
Yeah.
Fine.
Dakota, what you watching on that iPad?
Yep, because he know you're
Bro,
not supposed to
he
be
know
doing
it.
Yeah,
it.
you know you're not supposed to be watching.
Right, exactly. And it's hilarious to see. I forgot one time Devout was telling him to do something and he just closed his eyes. Like he started fake sleeping. Devout was like, yo, you gonna fake sleep? You gonna fake sleep? And he was like,
Seriously, making noise like he was
close his
sleeping.
eyes.
He got an attitude.
He got that too.
He gets that from Cat. What was your question, though, Josh?
Is it that funny?
Yeah, it is. It is. Because I keep thinking about the video. This freaking video is living rent free in my head with Dakota
The Nerf
and the
gun?
freaking Nerf gun. Yes. Because he had all this attitude with Deval, like, oh, I got it, bro.
Right,
And
exactly.
then he
You
went
see
over
that?
there to his brothers. He ain't have no smoke.
Nothing.
None
They
whatsoever.
took
Nothing.
his smoke.
Probably should listen to my daddy.
Then he backed up like,
The
Oh,
backup-
that's the video where I say he's a lover, not a fighter.
yo,
Yes.
yo, he's
Josh is never gonna let Dakota live it down that he was the only one born.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Nah,
don't do that
bro.
to
I
my
mean,
son.
that was the proof, though. He did it, not me.
True.
He
That
didn't want to
is
shoot
true.
his brother. He had the opportunity.
He did. He didn't. He didn't even know how to pull a gun out. He went over there and said,
He had too much script.
Jackson
You
trying to
gave him
help
too
him.
many words.
Jackson did. Jackson pulled the gun out, looked at it. He was like, "Wait, no."
All he did was look at it. He didn't even point it at him. He just looked at it like, "What is this? What you?"
They,
And then
Right.
they
Started
all
running
waiting
into
like, shoot
this.
us, please, shoot us, please.
This is when I realized though that they be bothering my youngest son. It was in that moment
Yeah.
when Jackson pulled that gun out and Dakota went like this. I said, "This trauma there." And I said, "What do y'all be doing?" This is another reason why you got to be deliberate, right?
Yes.
Check this story out. The last 4 days, we like, "Yo, Dakota, go to the bathroom." No, I'm scared. I'm like,
Scared of
scared to go to the bathroom, right? So I turn the light on. I'm like, "Go," and he's still like hesitant, right? So I push him in the bathroom, and ultimately he goes. He comes back. The next day goes by. He's in the back calling her name, "Mommy, mommy." So then I walk back there, and I'm getting ready to go ham. Like, the fuck you screaming your mother's name for? She went to go this, and he's standing there, lights on, but he won't come out the bathroom. And then I said, "Wait a minute,
What they do to you?
your brothers be scaring you?"
Yes. I'm like, what are you scared of? The monsters.
And I'm an older brother, so I know I used to do it to my brother. I used to do it like,
And they would like lock him in the closet or close the door or
Oh
turn
my
off the
God.
light.
Now they didn't do that to Dakota. They didn't do
Okay.
that. But they'll do stuff like they'll all be downstairs in the boy cave. And I call them like, "Yo, everybody come upstairs." What they do? Turn the lights off.
and
Everybody
run.
run upstairs. So now he's left. So then he gets up there and he's nervous. They're waiting in the back corridor. So then as soon as he gets to the door, they jump out. And then he runs upstairs. "Oh, the monsters." So I know because I used to do that. So now I got to play dad. So I bring him out, right? He's got his towel on. He nervous. I said, "Come here. You see your brothers? Watch this. Your brothers will never, ever again scare you because I'm going to slap the shit out of them." Right, Jackson? Jackson's like, yep. I'm not.
You good, bro?
You good? And then I said, right, Cairo? Cairo upstairs like, "Yeah, man, nothing from me. I be trying to help him. It don't be me." I said, "Cairo." He's like, "All right, I do it once in a while." But after that moment of me having to be the hard-ass dad and threatening all the brothers, now he fine. But it's just if you're not aware about what your kids are going through in the house, because here I was about to jump on him, right? "Why you screaming at him? It would have been all on him, and he's 3 years old. His brothers are scaring him, and now I've turned his trauma into something that he has to learn how to deal with them scaring each other.
Right.
But
He got his lick back though because one night he wanted to sleep in Cairo's bed with him, and they woke up in the morning and Cairo was just like, "My bed's wet," and Dakota was just like, "My pants are wet." I said, "What?" I said, "What happened?" Because Dakota doesn't wet
He
himself.
does not.
He doesn't have accidents.
don't
Since
do
he was
that.
potty trained, he's been good.
Mm-mm.
And he was like, "I pee myself." So I said, "You see, you scared him so much that he wouldn't even get up to go to use the bathroom overnight. So now go take your sheets off your bed and go put them in the washing machine." And Cairo was like, "All right."
Yeah, he was like, "All right."
And he did it on their bed.
He did it on
not
their bed.
his bed.
They
And I'm gonna tell you how smart our kids are, right? Jackson. It was 4 nights in a row in the apartment. We in the bed. We wake up in the middle of the bed. It's wet.
Oh yeah, when he was like 3, he was about
He's
the same
3, same age. And I'm like, "Yo, why you keep peeing in our bed, bro? Like you was sleep in your bed. Why come in here and pee?" Until I realized he's scared to go into that bathroom. Because when you flush the toilet,
It's
in the
loud,
bathroom,
yeah.
it's like it's the old school apartment where it's the
whole house
pre-World War II. The bathroom is like, so I went in there with him and I was like, "Yo, go pee," and he was like, "Mm-mm." So then he peed and I was like, "Flush the toilet." He was like, "Mm-mm." And I was like, "Yo, don't leave pee or poop in the toilet. Like we don't do that." Man, he hit that toilet and ran so fast to my arms, and I realized you was scared, bro. You wasn't just peeing in the bed.
Right.
And I think that's an important part of, being deliberate as a parent, understanding your kids' traumas.
Yeah.
Because you said something that was very important, meaning you backed it up, right? When you talked about just spending time so you can learn them, and then you talked about how they all learn differently. One mistake I know I made is I expected all my kids to learn the way I learned. And when they didn't learn like me, I would shame them for not understanding it the way I understood it. Now, I sit down and I break everything down to them in the way they need it. Kaz needed to be syllable after syllable. He needs there to be discipline thrown in there. Cairo, he just needs to see it, make it fun, make it a game. Jackson, syllable by syllable, it needs to be discipline. Dakota, he just got to see it one time. And I'm learning now, like I can't just make all of my parenting advice around one simple format.
Yeah, because I'm
You know?
sure that like as your children, you think that they're going to be many versions of you. You
Yeah.
think
For
that you're
sure.
teaching them how to learn, or even
Mhm.
you're kind of giving them their personality because they're around you, they see what you do, and they're just picking up and absorbing the way that you are. But that they come with a lot of their own settings. They got like their own factory settings, and you just kind of
updates and shit.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
parts of you. It ain't you all of you. It's
Yeah,
parts.
exactly.
And it's parts of us. What I learned about our kids is that Jackson and Kaz has her personality. They don't mind being by themselves, and they don't mind being quiet. They also don't like conflict. So sometimes I'll be like, what's wrong with you? You know, like I'm like, you a boy like me. You supposed to be, and they just like, nothing's wrong. I'm just chilling. And I'm like, dang, you just like your mother. But I thought because they're little versions of me, they would have my same attitude. Then you got Dakota and Cairo. They jumping beans. They jumping around the house. Every 5 seconds, they doing something else. Daddy, can we go outside? Daddy, can we go in the pool? And then I'll be like, yo, can y'all calm down? Like, you don't see your brothers just sit. And then I'm like, I can't do that.
Right.
I can't compare you to your brother and say you not doing this because that's right. I have to accept the fact that the things that I like and don't like about myself, you're going to have both of them. The things that I like and don't like about your mom, you're going to have both of those too.
Yep.
So I have to learn how to manage both.
Yeah,
you know?
giving our kids a little grace. I don't think people give our kids grace because they're living life too for the first time, just like us. You know, so they're trying to figure things out, and I would hope that they have the same grace with me when the roles reverse. And then I don't know shit about AI and all this tech shit. Like I'm gonna be the mom that's like, Jackson, can you reset my phone? They're saying something about somebody.
Gonna be?
Somebody.
You are that mom right now.
Right now.
Because Kate walked over to my phone
Absolutely.
yesterday and was like, I don't. What is this? Do not disturb. Please disturb me. I want to know what is going on.
That is you.
So
That is
I
you.
was like, personal, Josh? What's personal mean? Personal meaning like
That's
they in
her.
my personal
Right.
shit? Or what?
Exactly.
Because like, what kind of personal shit they in? You know, you Apple and y'all be in my business. Y'all be in people's business all the
Turn
time.
off the personal. I don't want none of my personal on the
But that fine
internet.
business. Oh man.
Josh, I have a question.
One thing
though.
I want to talk about was being intentional. So last week, my wife checked me on spending time with our daughter. So we go on vacation, and when I vacation, bro. Like I want to sit in a hammock, I want to sit in the chair. You know what I'm saying? I want to be in the sun, I want to be in the shade, I want to put my feet in the sand, but I don't really care about doing much else. My daughter, on the other hand, inner city Brooklyn kid, she see a pool, she there, right? She see like water slides, she there. But I want to chill. I just started reading books. I'm trying to read my book.
I feel you.
But then I'm putting all the pressure on my wife, right? So that's one thing. She was like, yo, yesterday was cool. Today
Nobody
was cool.
called me.
I am done, right? So I realized like I
I can hear Anika saying
I
it
had
too.
to be intentional with that. But on the flip side, the second part of the conversation was she was like, yo, you really got to date. You got to take her on dates too. And it's something that I'm not really as intentional about in the dating part. And I see you do it, Kay. I'll take her to the movies. It's nothing. Right? We'll sit in the movies, we'll watch the movies, and we'll do whatever. But I'm not like, okay, let's go to Broadway and see something different. You know what I'm saying? That she's never really seen before. You know what I'm saying? Because she watches movies all the time. That's not really a date.
It's not.
You watch it at home, you go here.
You can't really interact either.
Yes.
When you're watching
and you can't really,
something.
like, we're not expounding on, like,
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it'd be different if you had a son? The only reason why I asked is because I had to have the same conversation with Kay with the boys because I was like, yo, I know they're your sons, but you need to interact with them. And she was just like, what you mean? Like, I don't play sports. You think it's different because you?
I think it's definitely different because I put a lot of the onus on her mom to do a lot of the stuff that she wants to do, as opposed to, I see, I'm interactive with her on the stuff that I want to do. Right, I care so much about the stuff that I want to do.
Because I'm the same way with them. I'm like gonna pull you in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do those things because I'm like, that's the stuff I feel like I should be interacting and teaching you.
Yeah, and then the stuff that she want to do, I'm just like, your mom could like do that, but my wife is like, nah. The stuff that she wants to do, you have to also be involved in that too, because I realize I'll have to ask her like what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like
speak to her.
As opposed to knowing. I'll take her to like. Or I'll sit down with her and watch a whole joint on YouTube about drawing because I know I like drawing. I like that she does it too. But the stuff that she does that I don't care for, I don't do that. So
my mom, I gotta give a big shout out to my mom, yo. My mom used to make us go on dates where she would take us. We would have to go to a restaurant. She would drive, but I would have to stand on the outside of the street, open the door, we would sit down and I would have to talk to her about stuff. And I never understood it until I became someone's boyfriend. And now we going out to do stuff. And I know what it's like to be
Oh,
with a
yeah.
woman because my mom made me do this. I watched her do this with Jackson. They went and traveled from here, flying private from DC to whatever. But they went to DC to watch Kendrick's
Kendrick
concert.
Lamar, yeah.
And I watched some of the footage that Jackson got on his phone, and he's walking outside of his mom and he's holding it up. He always gets the door. They ordered room service. And I'm like, yo, you're learning how to date because you're like, you have to take your mom on a date. I think it's dope.
Being on the receiving end of it, when we started dating, being on the receiving end. Anyway, being on the receiving end of it, dating you, you didn't miss a beat. Like he didn't. You really just didn't disappoint when it came to dating because you were like such a gentleman. You know, like
Shout
this
out
one
Karen.
time. One time, Jackson went to get in the car, and I stood outside the driver's door, and I just stood there. Jackson's inside the car, and he plugging his phone up, and I'm just standing outside the car. And then he looks and he's like, my bad, Mom.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to open the door. And DeVal literally says to me, he's like, you have me and 4 sons,
That's
you'll never open
intentional
the door
on
in your
both
life.
sides. That's intentionality on both sides. Like I showed you, I taught you, and now application.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you. Like you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I ask you too because as a father, 2 boys, I am concerned with how people are raising their daughters.
Facts.
The same way I'm raising my sons to be chivalrous and to care for women, I hope that there are men and women out there raising their daughters to do the same for young men because it's not supposed to go one way. It requires both. You know what I'm saying? And to hear that, you know, you are doing that and Anika is saying like, yo, you got to date her and stuff, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Because that means there's going to be another young lady out there who is going to value the time spent with her father and value those small things. Oh, my dad said that this is what men like. And if she wants to be a wife, because she may not want to be a wife, but if she does want to be a wife, at least I know or someone else knows that, hey, she's prepared the same way my boys who said they want to be husbands. This is what it is, bro.
Yeah. I hope that's the byproduct that comes off of it. I think for me, like the most important thing is the fact that I got time spent with my daughter and she has time spent with me.
That is
like I don't even I'm not even thinking about these little niggas because they gonna come, right? I just hope like those that being intentional with her, the byproducts of that
absolutely
are all those things. But I mean,
I can tell you she won't take no disrespect from no one with you as her pops. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Listen, I've seen you see it on the street. You can see a young woman and you could be like, there is no father figure in that young woman's life. And it's not her fault.
Right.
A lot of times it's probably not the child's fault or the lady's fault, but my biggest fear is like seeing my daughter or somebody seeing my daughter through the eyes that I'm seeing people on the street. So
I know how you feel because I was the same way at Prototype. Think about all of the young kids we mentored, and I was like, your mom don't even realize like how she's creating a demon by how she speaks to you. Like this is what I used to think. And I used to tell Kay all the time, do not be the woman that raises the same type of boys that you don't like to see out in the street.
Yeah.
Because if you on them and you screaming and hollering and there's no affection and there's no like teaching about how to treat a young man or teaching them how to treat you, they're
or
gonna
how
go
to
out
carry
there.
themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
how to
that's
carry
the biggest
themselves.
thing.
They're gonna
Like,
go out
that's
there and get
huge.
mistreated by somebody else's daughter.
Yeah.
So it's both, both things. And I think it's important that we talk. Matt was talking about that with his
I'll say
dad.
mine for the moment of truth. I'll explain it in the moment of truth. It'll make sense.
Okay, bet.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. Well, shout out to the dads and moms who are out there intentionally
Facts.
parenting. You know who always comes to mind when I think about conversations like this? Kier Gaines. Shout out to my bro, Kier
Yeah, I
Gaines.
should love
He
Kier,
has
man.
2 daughters, and he's always making sure that he
Super
posts
intentional.
content about that. And I know it's not just for content purposes. He's just that kind of guy. So it's nice to see like people making those investments in their children. And we're seeing more of those stories on social media. So if you see a dad or a mom out there intentionally parenting their son and daughter, watch the video, like it, engage so your algorithm can see more of that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
All right, y'all, let's go pay some bills and we're going to come back into our listener letter for the day. Stay tuned.
Guess what, y'all? We wrote a book.
That's right. We Over Me. Available in hard copy, ebook, and audiobook wherever books are sold. We got it?
We good.
You gonna do it without your iPad now?
I don't have my iPad.
Your iPads. Bruh.
Why didn't you?
I didn't know if it was a rehearsal or not. Listen, I didn't want to water down your glam time, baby. And they matched your shirts.
All right, guys, we're back.
We are
You want to take
back.
care of the listener letter today, baby?
You want to do it today?
I got you.
Go for it.
Dear Ellises and the podcast crew, I'm a longtime listener and viewer of your show. For years, your work has been a source of inspiration and encouragement to me, and I deeply appreciate the positive influence you've had on my life. Well, thank you so much. I'm writing to you today with a heartfelt question about a challenge my husband and I are facing. We've been together for 16 years, married for 11, and have 3 wonderful children. While our relationship is undeniably strong and worth fighting for, we've encountered persistent difficulties in communication and parenting styles. We often struggle to see eye to eye, particularly regarding discipline and expectations for our children. He tends to be stricter than I am, which sometimes leads to conflict and friction within our family dynamic. I'm hoping you can share some insights based on your own experiences. How do you navigate differing approaches to parenting within your own relationships? What strategies have you found most effective in fostering open and constructive communication with your partners? Any advice you could offer on bridging the communication gap between us and finding more harmonious parenting styles would be invaluable. Congratulations again to Kay on the success of her show. I'm a huge fan.
Aw, thank you so much.
Geneva to the world.
Geneva to the
Yes.
world.
Book.
Put on your blood clot clothes, gal.
What?
It just came out. It just came out.
That's what she
You
said
didn't
in
see
the
it in the
episode.
episode?
Was that nah? That's a recent
That
episode.
The
That was
episode
not recent.
8.
That was like, well, we're up to episode 8 currently. Hopefully, by the time this airs, we'll be back from our mid-season break. But that was in one of the
Forgive
episodes.
me, I'm at
That wasn't
5
episode
right
8?
now.
No, it wasn't episode 8. It was like maybe episode 5, 6.
It was.
I'm at 5.
But the clip's been going around. So,
All I know
yeah?
is she had on peach tights. That's what I remember.
I got
so
it.
it might have been episode like 6
You
or
said that
something.
for real though?
I
Yes,
definitely
that's
said that.
crazy.
Yeah.
Lord.
So as you learn more about Geneva, she may or may not have some Caribbean upbringing or something. We'll see. But yeah, thank you for writing in about this. Deval and I think when we always knew we wanted to have children. So
Mhm.
in terms of how to raise the children, I think we aligned a lot. But there were also
Sometimes.
differences on the approaches, right? And I think that with parenting, we had to put our egos aside,
Mhm.
more than anything within our marriage or anything. But with
Mhm.
parenting, we had to put our egos aside because sometimes your spouse may see something or see the way it falls or impacts your child from a vantage point that you can't see.
Very true.
So, for example, us raising 4 boys, I've never been a young man. I've never been a boy. So Deval would sometimes, and I wouldn't say check me, but he would softly give me some words of encouragement and say, "Hey, I don't think that approach is going to work. Like, I just know what it's like to be a young man. I know what it's like to be a boy. And, you don't want to be the nagging mom. So maybe try this approach or like develop your own way of offering feedback to the children or critiquing them so they don't take it in a different kind of way."
Yeah.
So you have to be receptive, first off, by putting the ego aside and saying, you know what, maybe I need to listen to my spouse because they're seeing it from a different vantage point than I'm delivering it. It's, again, intent versus impact.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%. One thing I always did, Kadeen always said, yo, I'm going to let you lead when it comes to disciplinary action with the boys because you were a young boy. So I'll let you lead that. But even though she's letting me lead that, I often check in with her and be like, hey, do you think I handled that correctly?
Always.
Because I'll see how they respond. And I know they're going to be honest with their mom about something. I say, what do you think? Sometimes she's like, I think you could have let off a little bit on the gas. Or sometimes she's like, no, that one needed that. And I think you need to double down on that because I've also told him the same thing 3 or 4 times. The conversation happens with us and the kids, but it always happens with us.
Yeah.
Before and after. So before we go into a conversation with a child, I like to let her know what my plan is because there's been times where I didn't let her know and she was caught off guard.
Yeah.
The time where I let Jackson challenge me and we got into the little play fight, she had no clue what was going on and was afraid.
Yeah.
But then I explained to her afterwards and she was like, well, that would have been good to know. This is something that Tribble said that I think is so profound. Kids are learning every single day, right? A kid has to learn. For example, I'm teaching Kaz how to read, right? And we sit down and he's just like, yeah, so he's reading it and he's like, ... cattle. And I'm like, keep reading. I said, wait, stop. Do you know what cattle is? He's like, no. And I said, why would you know what cattle is? You're 7 years old. You grew up in the city. You wouldn't know. So he has to learn every word. It's the same thing with parenting. She's learning how to parent. I'm learning how to parent.
In real time.
And if you give your partner grace on something that they've never done before, it won't never be an argument.
Yep.
It'll just be, what did you see there? I saw this. And we just continue to give each other grace and figure it out. And don't be afraid to mess up and go back to your children and say, my bad.
That's super important.
Kay will also tell me, like, I think you went a little hard. And I got to be like, all right, Jackson, I was wrong for that. I apologize. I should have never done that. I spoke to mommy. This way they understand
Yeah.
That this isn't just a dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we're all learning. So
For sure. Like, for example, we were on vacation and I had some game cards. They were at the arcade, and I also had DeVal's debit card with the game cards. So we were closing out the tab and whatnot. I had given Jackson the game cards, and what I thought at the time was also DeVal's debit card. But I think also the mom in me knew, let me not give my 14-year-old his father's debit card because he might just drop it, lose it, something. So I must have had the debit card still in my hand. So we get to the arcade, and I'm like, Jackson, where's Dad's card? And he's like, you only gave me this. And I'm like, are you sure? I had all of them together and I handed them to you. And he's like, this is all I have. So I was like, shit, where is it? So we're backtracking. We're trying to find it. Then we end up finding it on like the floor where I was tying Dakota's shoe. So I'm like, shit, I must have had it in my hand and put it down. But the tone was that Jackson lost the card.
Yeah, the tone she came with was like, Jackson, I gave you
the cards. And I was like, shit, I probably put the card down, didn't even realize it. And then I went to him and I said, Jack, that's my bad. Like, I didn't even realize I might have had the card in my hand. I put it down. I'm sorry if it came across like I was trying to blame you, but I just didn't want you to lose Dad's card. So probably that's why I held it. And he was like, it's no big deal, Mom. It's nothing. And it blew over his shoulder. But
I'm pretty sure none of us have ever gotten an apology from our parents.
Hell
Especially in
What's
real
that?
time. As you see what I'm saying? Especially in real time.
in real time,
Like,
we do it in
we
real
do that
time.
now. That's the thing. Like, you know what? I messed up. Remember the
Yeah.
argument that we had? Me and you was beefing. Well, we wasn't beefing. I was beefing with you. It's on
What's
one of the
new?
Patreon episodes about the juices with Jay.
Oh, the juices with Jay. Yeah.
And my volume got raised, and I was in a bad mood. I said, yo, first thing I'm going to do when the kids wake up is I'm going to apologize to them because they should never hear me raise their voice, especially to their mom. Like, that's not something I want them to go to sleep and think that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologized to her. I woke them up. I apologized to them. And then
In front of
afterwards-
me, too.
Yeah, and I apologized to them in front of her so that they know you don't do things in public, but then apologize in private.
That's important.
And I did that to them. And the first thing they said was like, that's cool, man. Like, you human. You give us grace. So I think that helps, especially with all discipline for all kids and families. So hopefully this helps them understand that the conversation is ongoing, but you got to drop your ego.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah. And DeVal had said to me recently, he was like, I think I tend to be more of the strict parent in general. So I said, you think so? I said, I feel like I'm strict with certain things too. And we realized that within parenting, there's going to be a good cop and a bad cop in a lot of scenarios. At least we try to do that because it's like, if one person is going to be the disciplinarian and strict in that moment, you do want to kind of have somebody to reinforce and just say, you know what, your dad, your dad, he meant it like this. And I'm sure it's kind of, it's always coming from a place of love. Even though I used to hate that as a kid, it's like, don't beat me and then be like, I did it because I love you. But it's more so like just letting them know that we understand. They're seeing, they have feelings. Their feelings are valid.
Yep.
We don't always have all the answers. We're also growing with them. And Jackson had said something to DeVal one time that I think was super profound for his age. And he was just like, yo, like, this is your first time being a dad
That's
too.
what he said to me.
This is your first time being a parent the same way it's my first time being a kid. So, you know, sometimes we got to give our kids a little bit more credit for being a little bit more,
absolutely,
mature than we would think they would be for their age. So good luck to y'all. All right. If you want to be featured on the show as a listener letter, email us. We have the ellisadvice@gmail.com.
That's THEELLISADVICE@gmail.com.
All right, time for the moment of truth. Let's start with Matt because I know Matt had a point that he wanted to make for moment of truth that would probably segue us out.
Yeah, I
the show.
got 2 quick points. But
Okay.
I don't think it boils down to be if you have a son or a daughter. I think the main factor is being intentional. My dad died when I was 19. A lot of my memories of my dad are only disciplining me. So a lot of times I'll talk about him and everybody thinks it's just negative, but I didn't spend a lot of time with my dad. It was always discipline because he's at work or my mom got to take me somewhere.
Right.
But another impact he did have was I remember he had a cleaning company. I went with him to go do some cleaning stuff and he paid me after. He taught me the value of working for yourself. That one small moment when I became an entrepreneur, I remember that.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember the feeling, I could work for myself, I could get my own. Cool, that type of impact he had on me.
That's
but
crazy.
if you're only disciplining your kids, you're not gonna have that type of impact. And you don't wanna pass and then your kids only have that type of memory of
memory.
You wanna have a full rounded memory.
Got it. That's dope.
That is dope.
But think about it, that little moment where you worked
I
with
know.
him, it literally changed the trajectory of your
I
entire
literally
life.
remember it vivid. Cleaning carpet, he had me scrubbing the joint, and I'm there working hard like I'm one of the workers. He told me, he was like, you worked really hard today. I'm paying you what you're worth.
That's dope, yo.
Taught me the value
That's
of
mad
working
dope.
hard. You don't got to rely on anybody. But he's still working a 9-to-5 job. But he taught me that in that moment. Years down the line, I end up becoming an entrepreneur.
Right. And then he's also helping you out because when you become a father, you'll know, like, I want to have a balance between being the disciplinarian, but also creating memories, you know, good memories, fun memories, times that are.
And memories that you want to do, too. A lot of the stuff that I used to do with him was stuff that he wanted to do. Like you were saying.
Like Josh.
You don't only want to do that. You want to find out what your kids are into so that you can bond with them on that. I'm a big movie buff because my father used to like watching movies. So I sit down and go watch movies with him.
Happened to me.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
That's so true. I didn't realize dads do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we typically working. But like Josh said, I'm not working. I want to do nothing. So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something I want to do because I got to work all day. I get that.
Let me tell you, DeVal was trucking them kids around too in the lazy river and up the slides and down and everything. At some points, I was like, Mommy can take you to the sandbox.
I was like you for the last 3 days. I was, man, we was playing all the water sports, all that, man.
Bro.
I actually enjoyed it after a while because I was in the sun. Before I was just like shaded. After I got out, I was like, oh, I like this. So we was playing around. We met other families with her and all that. So
yeah, because she was a little social butterfly too. So
yes, well, there's another story.
When she's ready, all right. You know, with girls, she'd be like, from year to year, month to month, it changes. I understand.
I got 4. Wake up on vacation. You know I like to sleep. Wake up early because Jackson got to lift and run. So we go lift and run together. Then we come back. Kaz and Cairo, Daddy, we want to do the slides. I got to go walk up the slides with them. Then we come back. Daddy, can we go in the lazy river? Now I got Dakota in the lazy river, Kadeen in the lazy river. They get to be lazy. I got to push the things, you know, to keep us together. Like,
and Dakota learned how to swim, so he's just been like jumping. Daddy, I want to swim.
I'm up.
And he's like, and jumping in the water.
Too many activities, man. Y'all need a vacation with one pool in it.
Honestly, count all that as a blessing, though. I never traveled with my father. I've been all over America with my mother. Right. My mother used to take me and my brother on trips. Every year she was adamant, y'all are not staying in this house during the summer. Because I'm not staying in this house during the summer. I work hard all year. I'm going to spend 1 week. It was 1 week, we're going to go on vacation. My father said, I got a mortgage to pay. I'm going to work.
Wow.
I've never traveled with my father other than one trip. It was to Canada on a road trip for a funeral. That's the only time I know about traveling with my father.
Yeah.
Y'all are doing great. Keep being intentional.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Nah, thanks. No, that means a lot though, because you know, Josh too. Sometimes you feel like you're failing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yo,
not doing enough.
Parents, if you feeling like you failing, that's probably because you a good parent.
True.
Because we being here some days like, man, I don't know if I'm doing enough. I think I need to be here more.
Yeah.
And then people be like, how you gonna make money if you here anymore?
That's
My
true.
dad said the same thing to me because remember he looked at us and I looked exhausted and I was like, I'm just trying to be everything. And my pops was like, bro, you doing a good job.
Yeah. So, give yourselves grace.
Yeah, I talk to clients all the time about that. They be beating themselves up over the stuff they can't do for their kids. I'll be like, yo, you good, man? Like, oh, I didn't get his clothes yet. He'll look great in whatever he has, yo. Just
Indeed.
Parents, bro. And you doing the same thing now.
I am.
That means you're doing good.
What's your moment of truth, Tribs?
What's my moment of truth?
You don't got kids.
I don't got kids,
and you don't know
man.
if you want to have kids, but you were.
She was a kid.
You were a kid.
I was a kid, and I spent a lot of time with my dad. My dad was intentional about the time we spent together, and I was thinking about what Josh was saying about seeing other young women where you could tell they don't have a father figure in their life, and I often see women who grow up looking for male attention. Mm-hmm. When you have a good dad, you have a man's attention already. And that makes a difference on how you want to appear to that man.
That is very
how you
true.
want to be seen.
That is very true.
Profound.
That is very true. I agree with all of them, yo. I don't got nothing else to say. Just spend time with your kids, man. Love them. Get to learn them. Get to know them.
Mine's my soundbite. I love my family so much, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually so sad they're going back to school.
You've been sad for 2 weeks.
I've actually really been sad.
She has,
so
y'all.
I was like,
they're
yo,
back
I'm
in
not going to
school
have
already.
them all the time. Huh? You said they're back in school
Technically,
already?
when this comes out,
when this is, yes. When this
By the
comes
time
out,
they come out,
they're in
she'll be okay again.
And then, that's true. I'll be fine. Come out of the fridge.
That second day of waking up at 6:30, she gonna be like, I'm over this, man. Yo, let's go.
Bro, it's the getting up early part for me. I'll be like, oh God, for school for you is school for me is what it feels like. But
100 emails to the teacher deep by the time
she just said that the other night.
Do you know how many emails I've already gotten?
Yeah, she just said that,
It's
Tribble.
all of their sports, because they're all in sports, all of the other extracurricular stuff. all the teachers. Jackson has like 6 or 7 teachers. So I'm getting emails from everybody. It's ridiculous.
Man.
Ridiculous. So yeah, trying to stay organized. All right, y'all. Be sure to find us on Patreon if you have not done that already. You can see the after show as well as exclusive Ellis Ever After content and family content. You can find us on social media at Ellis Ever After. I'm Kadeen I Am.
And I am DeVal.
And I'm Matt_Matt.Ellis. See, I messed up.
And I'm a bad man. Man a bad man. Yo,
By
find me at,
birds, not by radiation.
find me at Joshua_Dwayne on Instagram.
And I'm at Tribs the Cool, TRIBBZ the Cool on everything.
And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
And download, baby.
Download, baby, download.
Yes.
That ass. Cut.
Ellis Ever After is an iHeartMedia podcast. It's hosted by Kadeen and DeVal Ellis. It's produced by Tribble. Video production by Joshua Dwayne and Matthew Ellis. Video editing by LaShawn Rowe.